Hello and welcome to Cubs Baseball. It is Sunday, April 13th of 1969, and we are now playing the second half of a doubleheader between the Cubs and Expos at Wrigley Field. The Cubs won the first half, which was actually a suspended game from Saturday due to a rainout, and the Cubs won that one in walk-off fashion in the ninth inning. Now, we're here for the nightcap between the Cubs and Expos, which is the second game of today's matchup. The Cubs are sending ace Ferguson Jenkins back out to the mound today for his second start of the season. He struggled a bit the first time out, allowing 5 runs in 7 innings with a 6.43 ERA and a 1.14 whip. The Cubs lineup is going to be Kessinger, Williams, Santo, Hickman, Banks, Beckert, Hundley, Phillips, and then the pitcher Jenkins. The Expos are going to send out Mike Wegner for his second start of the season. He is bringing in a 1.29 ERA and a 0.86 whip. The Expos lineup will be Maury Wills, Bob Bailey, Rusty Staub, Mac Jones, Don Clendenin, Marv Stale, Jose Herrera, Jim Hibbs, and Mike Wegner. It is still 50 degrees today, continuing to warm up each passing day. The wind is blowing in from right at 10 mph, and the Cubs trying to complete the sweep of the Expos and pull back up to 500 on the season. Now, heading out to the mound is the Cubs' Fergie Jenkins. It does look a bit overcast here at Wrigley again today. I don't know if we're going to get another rain out, but I certainly hope we get this game done before it gets dark out tonight. So, Jenkins on the mound against Maury Wills, leading off the top of the first inning. Here is a 2-2 count, and Jenkins looking for the sign, towing the rubber, and here's the pitch. Grounder to third, Santo has it, throws over to first, and Banks makes the out for number 1. So Bailey now the batter, 1 out, nobody on. 1-2 count from Fergie Jenkins, swing and a miss for strike 3, got him with the sinker, and that just dove right under his bat. Rusty Staub now the batter, 2 outs, nobody on. And here's the first pitch from Jenkins, lined into center field. Phillips coming in fast, but that's going to be a single. So a 2-out base hit for the Expos brings up Mac Jones with a runner on first. Here's a 1-ball count, and Jones pops it up to right. Hickman heading back toward the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So the Expos get a base runner, but they do not score. We go to the bottom of the first of a 0-0 ball game. Kessinger facing Wegner in the bottom of the first. Here's a 2-2 count, and Kessinger is waiting for the pitch. Liner towards second, scooped up, thrown over to first, and that is out number 1. Williams now the batter with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Billy Williams. That is low. It is ball 4, and Billy Williams heads down to first. Ron Santo now the batter with 1 out and a runner on first. Santo facing, and he strikes out swinging on the changeup. He was way out in front of that one. So 2 outs in the inning brings up Jim Hickman. Runner still on first, full count pitch to Hickman, and he is called on a changeup for strike 3. So the Cubs get a base runner. They do not score. We go to the top of the second of a 0-0 ball game. Don Clendenin against Fergie Jenkins here in the Expos half of the second. That is popped up on the infield. Banks coming over. He makes the catch, and that is out number 1. Stale now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. 2-2 count. Marv Stale waiting for the pitch. Grounder towards second. Beckert has it. Throws over to first, and that is out number 2. Herrera now the batter, 2 outs, nobody on. 3-1 pitch from Jenkins. Popped up behind second base. Kessinger going over. Beckert calls him off and makes the catch for out number 3. The Expos go down in order in the second. We go to the bottom of the second of a 0-0 ball game. Ernie Banks is going to lead off against Mike Wegner for the Cubs in the bottom of the second. 1 strike count and the pitch. Popped up center field. Herrera is coming in, and he puts it away in center field for out number 1. Beckert now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. 2-1 count to Glenn Beckert. Liner up the middle, that's going to be a base hit. Beckert rounding first, but staying put. That is going to be a 1-out single as the Cubs' first hit of the ball game. Randy Hundley now the batter. Excuse me, not yesterday's hero, just earlier today's hero. Driving in the winning run in the first half of the doubleheader. So Hundley facing Wegner with 1 out, 1 man on, and an 0-2 count. That is strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate, and Hundley is the second out of the inning. 3rd strikeout of the day for Wegner. Adolfo Phillips now the batter. 2 outs, 1 man on, 1-2 count to Phillips. Grounder toward third. Picked up, thrown over to first, and Phillips is retired by half of a step for out number 3. So the Cubs get a base runner. They do not score. We go to the top of the third of a 0-0 game. Jim Hibbs is going to face Jenkins here in the top of the third. Here's a full count, and Jenkins with the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Blew that fastball right by him. Hibbs might have had a hole in his bat for all we know. Wegner on the batter with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 2-2 count from Jenkins. Swing and a miss for strike 3. He got him with the sinker. So that one just dove under his bat, and strikeout number 3 on the day for Ferguson Jenkins. Brings up Maury Wills. 2 outs, nobody on. 1 strike, pitch to Wills. Ground ball towards second. Beckert has it, throws over to Banks, and that is out number 3. The Cubs retire the Expos in order in the third. We go to the bottom of the third inning of a 0-0 game. Ferguson Jenkins is going to lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the third. He is 1 for 3 on the season. Waiting for the first pitch from Wegner, and he pops that one up on the infield. The first baseman and the catcher converge in front of the dugout, and the catch is made by Clendenin for out number 1. Kessinger now batting. 1 out, nobody on. 1 strike count to Kessinger. Liner down the left field line. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Kessinger has a 1-out single. And now the Cubs have a base runner with 1 out, and Billy Williams is the batter. 1 out, 1 man on. First pitch to Billy Williams, lined into left field for another base hit. Kessinger rounding second, but he thinks better of it as the throw goes directly to third. So Kessinger and Williams with back-to-back singles brings up Ron Santo. 1 out, 2 men on, bottom of the third inning. Cubs trying to break this scoreless tie. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Ron Santo. He lines that one up the middle. This may drive in a base runner. Rounding third and heading home. The throw comes home. The slide, and he is safe. Kessinger scores the first run of the ball game. Santo credited with the RBI single, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Nice piece of hitting there by Ron Santo to just take that one right up the middle. Just took what the pitcher gave him. Jim Hickman now the batter. 1 out. 2 men on base. 2-2 count to Jim Hickman. And that is a swing and a miss at a big curveball for out number 2. That was a classic 12-6 curve, and Wegner records his 4th strikeout of the day. Ernie Banks now the batter. With 2 outs, nobody on. Banks batting with a 1-2 count. And another big curve, and he strikes out Banks looking. So the Cubs score a run. They strand 2. We go to the top of the 4th of a 1-0 ball game. Jenkins is going to face Bailey now in the top of the 4th. Here's a full count pitch from Jenkins. Grounder towards short. Kessinger has it. Throws over to first. That is out number 1. Staub now the batter with 1 out. Nobody on base. Jenkins working with a 3-0 count and the pitch. Outside for ball 4. Staub let that one go by. He draws the walk. With 1 out, it'll bring up Mac Jones. 1 man on. First pitch. And Jenkins hits him in the knee. So Jenkins, I'm not sure whether or not he did that on purpose. Jenkins does have a little bit of a reputation for hitting batters. So Clendenin now batting. with 2 men on base and 1 out. Jenkins working with a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Got him with the sinker. Second out of the inning, 4th strikeout of the day for Jenkins. Brings up Marv Stale. 2 outs, 2 men on. 2-2 count to Stale. Grounder towards second. Beckert has it. He wins the foot race to the bag, and they retire the side. So the Expos strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 4th of a 1-0 ball game. Glenn Beckert is going to lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the 4th against Wegner. Beckert waiting for the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Beckert heads back to the dugout as he was way behind that fastball. Randy Hundley now the batter, facing Wegner with 1 out, nobody on. 1-2 count to Randy Hundley. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Hundley is set down on strikes. That'll bring up Adolfo Phillips. 2 outs, nobody on base. 1 ball count. Phillips waiting for the pitch from Wegner. And that's popped up on the right side. The first baseman and second baseman converge. The second baseman calls him off, and Stale makes the catch for out number 3. The Cubs are retired in order in the 4th. We go to the top of the 5th of a 1-0 ball game. Jenkins working against Herrera in the top of the 5th. Here's 2 strikes and the count. Strike 3 called. That's strikeout number 5 for Ferguson Jenkins. That fastball just threw it right past him, and now Hibbs is the next batter. 1 out, nobody on. 1-1 count from Ferguson Jenkins. Grounder towards short. Kessinger has it. Throws over to first, and that is out number 2. Wegner now the batter. 2 outs, nobody on. The pitcher, Wegner, facing the pitcher, Jenkins. First pitch, top of the 5th inning. Popped up to the right side. The second baseman, Beckert, calls for it. He makes the catch, and that is out number 3. So, the Expos retired in order in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th of a 1-0 ball game, and Ferguson Jenkins going to lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Facing Wegner with a 1-strike count. There's a grounder toward first. Oh, and the first baseman kicks it. He kicks it over towards second. Clendenin cannot handle it. Jenkins will be safe at first on the error. That will bring up Don Kessinger with nobody out. 1 man on. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Don Kessinger. Grounder towards second. The throw goes to short, but the relay to first does not happen as Ferguson Jenkins very aggressively slides into second with the spikes up in the air, and he takes him out to break up the double play. So Billy Williams now is the batter with 1 out and 1 man on. 1-1 count to Billy Williams. And that's hit high, deep left field, going back to the wall, and it is caught right in front of the ivy for out number 2. Williams certainly gave that one a ride down the left field line, but it wasn't quite deep enough. And now Ron Santo is going to be the batter. He is 1 for 2. He drove in the run earlier in this game. He comes up with 2 outs and a runner on first. Here's a 1-strike pitch to Ron Santo. Wegner with the pitch. Lined into right field. That's going to be a line drive out to end the inning. Santo hit that one right on the nose, but it was directly at the Montreal right fielder. So, we go to the top of the 6th inning of a 1-0 ball game. Jenkins coming out to work against Maury Wills in the top of the 6th. 1-1 count. Jenkins with the pitch. Grounder toward first. Banks scoops it up. Throws to Jenkins covering the base, but that is late as Maury Wills is very speedy and he beats it out for an infield single. So now Bailey comes up, nobody out, runner on first, and a pickoff throw over to first, but Wills is not going anywhere. So Jenkins facing Bailey now. Here's the first pitch, and that runner takes off. The throw goes down to second. It is late. So Wills steals the base, and that will put a runner in scoring position as Bob Bailey continues to bat. Here's a 2-2 count, and a swing and a miss for strike 3, another sinker. Jenkins really has that sinker working well today. That is strikeout number 6 on the day for him. And now Rusty Staub is the next batter. 1 out, 1 man on, 1-2 count from Jenkins. And that's popped up to center. Phillips heading back toward the warning track, makes the catch, and that is out number 2. The runner on second, Wills, thought briefly about tagging up, but ultimately retreated to the base. Mac Jones now the batter. 2 outs, 1 man on. Here's a 1-2 count from Jenkins. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Got him with the fastball right there, and that will end the inning. So the Expos strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the 6th of a 1-0 ball game. Jim Hickman leading off against Mike Wegner in the bottom of the 6th inning. Full count. Hickman waiting for the pitch. Grounder towards short. Picked up, thrown over to first. That is out number 1. Banks now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Ernie Banks waiting for the 1-strike pitch. Here it comes. Grounder towards second. Scooped up, thrown over to first, and Banks is retired for out number 2. Beckert now the batter. 2 outs, nobody on base. 0-2 count to Glenn Beckert. Wegner with the pitch. Popped up to right. Gonna be playable. Right center field, and that is caught by Staub for out number 3. So the Cubs retired in order in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th inning of a 1-0 ball game. Jenkins now working to Don Clendenin in the top of the 7th. Jenkins with a 2-2 count, looking for the sign, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Clendenin goes down swinging, and that will be strikeout number 8 on the day for Jenkins, as the next batter, Marv Stale, will come up. 3-1 count. Jenkins working. That is low. It is ball 4. So the tying run is going to be on first base, and Manny Mota will be the pinch hitter. Mota comes up 3 for 9 on the season to face Ferguson Jenkins. 1 out, 1 man on, top of the 7th inning. Here's a 1-2 count, and the pitch from Jenkins. Lined into center field. Phillips coming in fast, but that's going to drop for a base hit. He throws down to third. The runner's trying to advance to third. The slide, and Stale is safe. So, a 1-out single by Mota sends Stale around to third. And now the Expos are threatening in the top of the 7th inning. This is going to precipitate a reliever warming up, and it will be, in this case, well, why not? We're just going to warm up Phil Regan, because we don't have any better relievers than him. So, Regan is going to warm up in the Cubs bullpen. The manager's going to come out to the mound. Jenkins says, "I feel great," so we're going to leave him in the game for the moment. He's going to face the catcher Hibbs with 1 out and runners on the corners. Cubs nursing along a 1-0 lead. Here's a 1-2 count, and there's a liner into right. That's going to tie up the game. Hickman plays it on a hop. The runner from first is going to advance to third. The throw, and it is late. So an RBI single by Jim Hibbs, and that is going to tie up the ball game at 1. And now the pitcher Wegner comes up with 1 out, runners on the corners. Jenkins probably having his last chance to end this inning right here, as he faces the pitcher Wegner with 1 out, 2-2 count. Jenkins looking for the sign and the pitch. Strike 3 called, so Wegner strikes out looking. And now Maury Wills is the batter. Wills is 1 for 3 against Jenkins. Regan is ready. Jenkins has thrown 117 pitches in this game. I know Jenkins probably wants to try to finish out this inning. However, this is going to be the opportunity that we're going to take to make the substitution. So Jenkins is going to be relieved by Phil Regan. And because of that, Regan is going to come in on a double switch. He is actually going to come in for the first baseman, Ernie Banks. But he's going to pitch. And then Willie Smith is going to come into the number 9 spot and play first base. So going back to the game now, Phil Regan, Cubs closer, comes in a tie game in the top of the 7th inning to face Maury Wills. 2 outs, runners on the corners. 1 ball count. Regan working to Mills. Grounder to short. Kessinger has it. Flips over to second, and that will end the inning. So Regan gets the job done. He closes down the rally here in the top of the 7th. We're going to go to the bottom of the 7th inning of a 1-1 ball game. Now, Wegner comes back out to the mound to face Randy Hundley in the bottom of the 7th. So Wegner working, 0-2 count, Hundley waiting for the pitch. Strike 3 swinging. Check swing anyway. Strikeout number 8 on the day for Wegner as the umpire rings him up, and it brings up Adolfo Phillips. He is 0 for 2 today against Wegner. He comes up with 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 1-2 count to Adolfo Phillips. And that is strike 3 called on the outside corner. Strikeout number 9 on the day for Mike Wegner. And now the lefty, Willie Smith, comes up. He is 0 for 4 on the season. Comes up with 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the first pitch to Willie Smith. Grounder towards second. Scooped up, thrown over to first, and that is out number 3. So the Cubs retired in order in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the top of the 8th of a 1-1 ball game. So Regan is going to stay in. He is going to pitch to the top of the Expos lineup here in the top of the 8th inning. He'll face Bailey, Staub, and Jones in that order. Here's a 1-strike count, and Regan with the pitch. Popped up to left field. Billy Williams going back to the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Staub now the batter. Working against Regan with 1 out, nobody on. Full count pitch. And Regan coming to the plate. There's a liner into left field. This time Williams plays it on a hop. So a 1-out single. And Williams gets it back into the infield quickly, bringing up Mac Jones. Runner on first, 1 out. Regan working, 1-2 count. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Regan chases him with a sinker. Swing and a miss brings up Don Clendenin with 2 outs and a runner on first. Regan working with a 3-1 count. Here's the pitch. Liner towards short, picked up, thrown over to second, and that will end the inning. So Kessinger to Beckert ends the inning on the force out at second. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still a 1-1 ball game. And we're going to see a new Cub reliever getting up in the bullpen in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it is going to be Dick LeMay. He will be warmed up to pitch in the top of the 9th inning in case if that pitcher's spot comes up and we need a pinch hitter. So here's a 1-ball count and the pitch. Popped up behind shortstop. The play is made. That is Maury Wills making the catch for out number 1. Billy Williams now the batter with 1 out, nobody on. 0-2 count to Billy Williams. Grounder towards second. Picked up, thrown over to first, and that is out number 2. Ron Santo now the batter. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2 outs, nobody on. Wegner facing Santo. He is 1 for 3 today. Drove in the only Cub run in this game. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch to Santo. And he hits that one down the left field line. This is going to be extra bases. Santo is rounding first, heading for second. He is going to slide into second with a 2-out double. And the Cubs trying to break this tie in the bottom of the 8th inning. Santo sliding into second with a 2-out double brings up Jim Hickman. 2 outs, runner in scoring position, the potential go-ahead run in the form of Ron Santo. Hickman facing Wegner. Here's a 1-strike count and the pitch to Hickman. Grounder toward third, picked up, thrown over to first, and that is out number 3. So the Cubs do not score. We go to the top of the 9th inning of a 1-1 ball game. So now we're going to set down LeMay. He was warmed up. Regan is going to be allowed to pitch here in the top of the 9th inning. Here's a 1-2 count and Regan with the pitch. Oh, and he hits him Regan hits him with a 1-2 pitch, a sinker. I don't think there's any way he intended to do that. And so that is a runner on first, Marv Stale, with nobody out, and Manny Mota now is the batter. We're going to get LeMay back up. I don't like the fact that he hit the very first batter that he faced. We're going to visit the mound and see what Regan has to say for himself. He says, I'm feeling it a little bit, but I'm still in good shape. Well, we're going to go ahead and change the pitcher then. We're going to bring in LeMay. And what's going to happen is LeMay is going to come in for Hickman in right. He is going to pitch, and then Blatt or Burnett. Burnett does not play, so we're going to bring in Blatt now, and he is going to go out to right field. So the double switch brings in LeMay with a runner on first, nobody out. Mota is the batter. Here's the first pitch to Mota, and the bunt is laid down. Santo picks it up, throws over to first, and that is out number one. The sacrifice is successful as Stale advances down to second, and now Hibbs is the next batter. One out, runner in scoring position. LeMay working in the top of the ninth inning. Here's a 2-2 count, and LeMay with the pitch. Popped up behind shortstop. Kessinger going over, makes the play in short left field for out number two. And now LeMay will face LeBoy. Coco LeBoy is the pinch hitter for the Expos. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI. He comes up with the potential go-ahead run out at second base. And facing LeMay with 2 outs in the top of the ninth inning. Here's the first pitch from LeMay. Lined into center field, going back is Phillips. It is over his head all the way to the wall. So coming into second, sliding in with an RBI double is LeBoy. Coco LeBoy has just driven in the second run of the ball game for the Expos as they take a 2-1 lead. So Montreal, now with the 2-1 lead, sends up Maury Wills in the top of the ninth inning. 2 outs, runner on second. LeMay now just needs to get out of this inning. Here's a 2-ball count with the pitch. Grounder toward the mound. Actually, Banks has it. He cut in front of Beckert and picked it up, throws it over to first, but the pitcher was slow recovering, and Wills beats out another infield single. That'll bring up Bob Bailey. 2 outs, runners on the corners. LeMay facing Bailey with a 1-2 count. And here is the pitch. Liner into left field. Williams coming in, but he's going to play this on a hop. The throw goes down to third. Another run scores. The Expos now have a 3-1 lead. The Cubs are really struggling to get out of this ninth inning. And now LeMay faces the lefty Staub with 2 outs and 2 men on. So here's a 1-ball count. LeMay with the pitch. Liner into center field. Adolfo Phillips coming in. He plays it on a hop. The throw comes home, the runner comes home, the slide, and he is safe. So that is another run. It's now 4-1 Expos in the top of the ninth. 3 runs have been scored. And Hank Aguirre, I guess, is going to get up to warm up in the bullpen. 2 outs, 2 men on. LeMay trying to get out of this inning. Here's a 1-strike count and the pitch. And that's lined down the left field line. That's going to be another base hit. So another run is going to score. The runner rounds third, heading home. The throw comes home, and he slides, and he is safe. And is now a 5-1 game in favor of the Expos in the top of the ninth inning. LeMay facing Clendenon. The manager's going to come out and talk to him on the mound. He says, I've got plenty in the tank, but unfortunately, he's just not getting anybody out. So Clendenon now batting, 2 outs, 2 men on. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch from LeMay. Grounder toward third. Santo has it. Throws over to first, and mercifully the inning ends. So the Expos score 4 runs. I believe they may have all been after there were 2 outs. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning of a 5-1 ball game. Blatt now facing Robertson in the bottom of the ninth. Blatt comes up. He is 3 for 5 on the season. He was a defensive replacement for Hickman earlier in the game. Here's a 3-0 count, and Jerry Robertson with the pitch. That is low. It is ball 4, and Blatt heads down to first as the Cubs have a base runner. Beckert now the batter. Nobody out. Runner on first. Beckert facing Robertson with an 0-2 count. And here's the pitch. Low for ball 4. Oh, no, that is strike 3 called. That is the first out of the inning and a strikeout for Glenn Beckert, and it brings up Randy Hundley. With 1 out, runner on first. Hundley waiting for the first pitch from Robertson. Here it comes. Lined into right field. Is that going all the way to the wall? Yes, it is. This is going to be extra bases for Randy Hundley. Rounding first, heading for second. The Cubs have a 1-out double from Randy Hundley. It puts runners on second and third with 1 out. And now Phillips is the batter. Adolfo Phillips comes up. He is 0 for 3 today. With 1 out, 2 men on. Robertson facing Phillips in the bottom of the 9th inning. Cubs trying to mount a rally. 1-ball count. Phillips grounds that one up the middle. The shortstop has it. Throws over to first, and that is out number 2. The run scores, however, and the force is made at first. There are now 2 outs, runner on third, and it is a 5-2 ball game. Willie Smith is now the batter. 0 for 5 on the season, 0 for 1 today. 2 outs, a runner 90 feet away. Smith needs to keep this inning alive. Here's a 3-1 count, and that is outside for ball 4. So Smith draws the walk. He heads down to first, and it brings up Don Kessinger, who is 1 for 4 today. He will face Robertson with 2 outs, runners on the corners. Kessinger waiting for the 0-2 count and the pitch. That's a grounder towards short, picked up, thrown over to second, and the side is retired. So the Cubs rally comes up short. The Expos pull out game 3, and this is a 5-2 victory for Montreal. The Expos got 5 runs on 10 hits with 1 error. The Cubs got 2 runs on 6 hits with no errors. The player of today's game is the Expos' Mike Wegner. He went 8 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. He goes to 1-0 on the season. Jenkins for the Cubs pitched 6 2/3 of 4-hit, 1-run baseball with 2 walks and 9 strikeouts. However, Phil Regan is tagged with the loss. He drops to 1-2. He threw an inning and a third of relief, allowed the go-ahead run to score in the 9th inning, and then was relieved by May, who allowed 3 more runs to score. That run was charged back to Regan. So thank you for watching Cubs baseball. The Cubs dropped to 2-4 while the Expos improved to 2-4.